In small towns, secrets have a way of spreading like weeds after a summer rain, says a detached, cold voiceover as the camera slowly pans across the morning landscape of Mill Creek. Mill Creek, Ohio, is a typical American town that grew up around the lumber industry. The main street with shops built in the 1950s, the town square with a monument to the founders, a church with a white spire, and of course, the Wilson Woodworks factory, the heart of the local economy, where almost a third of the adult population works. The camera pans to the massive brick factory building with its faded sign. Workers arrive for the morning shift, parking their pickup trucks and used sedans in the asphalt parking lot. This story could have happened anywhere, but it happened here, the voiceover continues as a modern black SUV pulls into a separate parking lot marked management only. Alex Wilson, 48, owner of Wilson Woodworks, gets out of the car. He is a tall, fit man in an expensive suit, with premature gray in his dark hair. His father founded the factory in 1967, and Alex took over 20 years ago, turning the family business into a company with an annual turnover of several $million. He is respected in the town, but also feared. "Good morning, Mr. Wilson." The employees nod as he walks by. Alex responds with a curt nod, not stopping to chat. In his spacious office with panoramic windows overlooking the factory floor, he is greeted by Sharon Collins, a 42-year-old secretary with a sharp gaze and immaculate manicure. She has worked for the Wilsons for 15 years and knows more about the company and its owner than anyone else. "Your wife called," Sharon says, handing him a stack of documents. "She reminded you about the charity dinner tonight at 7. Alex sighs deeply. "Tell her I remember. Do we have an interview with a new sales manager today?" "Yes, Daniel Morris at 11. His resume and references are impressive. Rapid career growth at a company in Cincinnati." "Then why does he want to move to our backwater town?" Alex raises an eyebrow. Sharon shrugs. "He says he's looking for opportunities for growth in a less competitive environment. But I think it's something personal." The camera takes us to another part of town, an elegant two-story colonial-style house on a hill overlooking Mill Creek. Vanessa Wilson, Alex's 39-year-old wife, stands at the bedroom window, absent-mindedly sipping her morning coffee. She looks flawless even in her home clothes, a result of her past in the modeling business. "Their marriage was the envy of Mill Creek," comments a voiceover. "A wealthy, respected businessman and his beautiful wife, the embodiment of the American dream. At least that's how it appeared from the outside." Vanessa checks her phone, frowning. Then she dials a number. "Sharon, it's me. Did Alex get my message about tonight? He's been late from work every night for the last 3 weeks, and I don't want to embarrass myself in front of the charity committee again." Her voice betrays the tension she is trying to hide behind small talk. Sharon assures her that she passed on the message. "How are you?" Vanessa asks, changing her tone to a more intimate one. "We haven't had a real conversation in a long time." Same old," Sharon replies, lowering her voice and glancing at Alex's closed office door. "Work, teenage son, bills. Not all of us have lives full of charity dinners." Vanessa sighs. "Believe me, I'd prefer something more meaningful." Meanwhile, Daniel Morris, a 34-year-old candidate for a sales manager position, parks his modest but clean sedan in the parking lot of the Pine Grove Motel on the outskirts of Mill Creek. He looks younger than his age, slim, with dark hair and attentive eyes. In his room, he checks his suit one last time and reviews his notes about the company. His phone rings. The number is blocked. "Yes?" he answers cautiously. "Are you sure you want to do this?" The female voice on the other end sounds agitated. "We've already discussed this. There's no other choice," he says, his tone becoming harsher. "If someone finds out, no one will find out if you're careful. I'll call you back after the interview." At the interview, Daniel impresses Alex with his knowledge of the market and his ideas for expanding sales beyond the region. "You have an excellent resume, Mr. Morris, but why our company?" Alex asks, leaning forward. "I've researched several mid-sized furniture manufacturers, and Wilson Woodworks stands out for its quality and potential. Plus, I'm looking for a place where I can make a real difference, not just be a cog in the corporate machine." Alex nods, satisfied with the answer. "Well, we can't offer you a Cincinnati salary, but we do have opportunities for growth." I'm not looking for money, I'm looking for prospects, Daniel replies confidently. After the interview, Sharon walks Daniel to the door. What do you think? Do I have a chance? He asks with a charming smile. Mr. Wilson liked you, and that's rare. I'd say your chances are good, Sharon replies, looking at him searchingly. It's a small town. Where can I go for dinner to celebrate? The Red Mill is pretty good. It's on Main Street. That evening, Alex and Vanessa show up at a charity dinner at a country club. They look like the perfect couple, he in a dark suit, she in an elegant ivory dress. They smile and mingle with the local elite, but an attentive observer would notice that they hardly speak to each other. I hear you hired a new sales manager? Asks the chairwoman of the charity committee. Yes, a talented young man from Cincinnati. He starts on Monday, Alex replies. Vanessa feigns interest. You didn't tell me. Maybe we should invite him to dinner and show him around town? Why, I hired him to work, not socialize, Alex replies, taking a sip of whiskey. Meanwhile, Daniel is dining alone at the Red Mill, studying the patrons and taking notes on his phone. His attention is drawn to a photograph on the wall. Alex and Vanessa Wilson at the opening of the renovated restaurant a year ago. He stares at the picture of Vanessa for a long time, then takes a photo with his phone and sends a message to someone. It's her. Let's get started. The next day, Daniel signs a lease for a small house near the city center. Then he goes to a local supermarket to buy groceries. In the produce section, he accidentally bumps into Vanessa Wilson's shopping cart. Excuse me, he says, then feigns surprise. You, Vanessa Wilson, I saw your picture in Red Mill. I'm Daniel Morris, your husband's new sales manager. Vanessa studies him with a slight smile. Welcome to Mill Creek, Mr. Morris. Alex mentioned you yesterday. How do you like our town after Cincinnati? Just settling in. But the people here seem friendly. Their conversation is interrupted by Vanessa's phone ringing. Excuse me, I have to take this, she says, stepping aside. Daniel watches her, his expression becoming more serious and calculating as she turns away. On Monday, Daniel starts work at Wilson Woodworks. Alex introduces him to the team and gives him a tour of the factory. To the surprise of the employees, the usually reserved boss shows unusual enthusiasm for the new manager. We have our own pace here, Alex says, but I hope your experience will help us reach new heights. Sharon shows Daniel his office, a small but decent room next to the sales department. If you need anything, just let me know, she says. Thanks, Sharon. I like the team spirit, Daniel replies with a smile. After lunch, Sharon notices Daniel looking at family photos in Alex's office while Alex is on the phone. 2 weeks after Daniel starts work, on Friday evening, Vanessa stops by the factory to pick up Alex for dinner with friends. Alex is delayed in a meeting, and she waits in the reception area. Daniel emerges from his office with folders in his hands. Mrs. Wilson, I didn't expect to see you here. I'm waiting for my husband. He's always in meetings lately. I had plans for the evening too, says Daniel. I wanted to visit an art exhibition at the community center. I hear it features works by local artists. Really? Vanessa asks in surprise. I didn't know you were interested in art. There's a lot about me that might surprise you, he replies with a slight smile. I was planning to go to that exhibition too, but Alex isn't really into that kind of thing. At that moment, Alex emerges from the conference room. Noticing his wife talking to Daniel, he frowns slightly. Vanessa, you're early. I'm not done yet. We agreed on 7, Alex. It's almost 8. Alex checks his watch. I need another half hour. Would you mind waiting in the car? Vanessa smiles tensely. Of course. It was nice to meet you, Mr. Morris. Likewise, Mrs. Wilson. When she leaves, Alex stares intently at Daniel. You make a good impression, Morris. But don't forget why you're here. Of course, sir. I'm here to increase sales. Exactly, let's go finish the presentation for the distributors. On Saturday, Vanessa visits an art exhibition. To her slight surprise, she meets Daniel there, studying an abstract sculpture. Decided to come after all? He asks. I love art, unlike my husband. They spend an hour discussing the exhibits, and to her surprise, Vanessa finds herself feeling comfortable in the company of her husband's new employee. Would you like to get a coffee? Daniel asks as they leave the community center. Vanessa hesitates. I don't think that's a good idea. Mill Creek is a small town. People will talk. I understand. Maybe another time, He smiles knowingly, but there is something in his eyes that looks like a challenge. Vanessa walks away but looks back at him over her shoulder. 3 weeks later, Daniel has already settled in at Wilson Woodworks. His initiatives to enter new markets and revamp the marketing strategy have impressed Alex. On Thursday afternoon, his boss calls him into his office. "The board has approved your idea to participate in the industry trade show in Chicago," Alex says, handing him a folder of documents. "I want you to lead the project." "Thank you for your confidence," Daniel says, taking the folder but not opening it. "This is your chance to prove yourself, Morris. We've never had such a large presence there. The budget is limited, but the results are expected to be significant." When Daniel leaves the office, Sharon looks at him quizzically. "You're moving up fast, Mr. Morris." "My work speaks for itself," he replies with a smile. "Mr. Wilson rarely trusts newcomers so quickly," she says suspiciously. "Maybe the company needed some fresh ideas." That evening, Daniel sits in his car in the City Park parking lot talking on the phone. The screen displays no name. "I got access to the exhibition project. This will give me a chance to study the financial documents," he says quietly. "Great. What about her?" "Everything is going according to plan. We've already accidentally met twice. She's unhappy in her marriage, it's obvious." "Be careful. If he suspects anything, don't worry. He's too busy trying to keep the company afloat." "What do you mean?" "They're having financial problems. I don't know the details yet, but something is definitely wrong." The voice on the other end of the line sounds satisfied. "We can use that. Keep me posted." On Saturday morning, Vanessa Wilson is working out at her local fitness center. After her class, she notices Daniel leaving the gym. "Mrs. Wilson, what a coincidence," he smiles, wiping his neck with a towel. "Mr. Morris, are you stalking me?" Her voice is playful, but her eyes study his face intently. "I live 4 blocks away. You're obviously not from around here, judging by your accent." "Chicago, I grew up there. Alex met me at a modeling casting for his furniture ad 10 years ago." "And you traded the big city for Mill Creek? Don't you miss it?" Vanessa hesitates. "Life here is quieter." "But isn't it too quiet?" Daniel looks her straight in the eyes. "Maybe we could get some coffee," Vanessa suddenly suggests. "Not here. There's a cafe in nearby Pinewood, 20 minutes away. No one knows us there." "I'd love to. In an hour?" In a cozy cafe in the neighboring town, Vanessa tells Daniel about her life, about her unfulfilled dreams of a modeling career, about her first years of marriage to Alex, about how they gradually grew apart. He was different when we met, attentive, passionate, with plans to take the company national. What changed? He closed himself off, especially after his father died 3 years ago. Everything became about work, and I became a decorative accessory for charity events. Daniel listens attentively, occasionally asking leading questions. At one point, his hand accidentally touches hers, and she doesn't pull away. "What about you, Daniel? Why did you really move here? And don't tell me about career prospects." "Maybe I was looking for something, or someone." Their eyes meet, and Vanessa feels her heart begin to beat faster. On Monday, Daniel immerses himself in preparations for the exhibition. Sharon brings him additional documents from the archives. "You need to know the history of the company if you're going to represent it," she says. While reviewing the documents that evening, Daniel stumbles upon a peculiar detail in the financial reports for the past 2 years. There are discrepancies in the amounts and unexplained transfers of funds. He makes copies of the pages and hides them in a personal folder. The next day, while looking through Alex's emails related to the exhibition, to which he has been given access, Daniel discovers correspondence with an unknown address. The emails mention partners from abroad and alternative supply channels. His thoughts are interrupted by a call from Vanessa. "Alex is leaving for Pittsburgh for 3 days," she says without preamble. "Come over at 7 tonight." At the Wilson home, Daniel studies the photos on the walls. Alex and Vanessa at different stages of their life together. In the early pictures, they look happy. In the later ones, they maintain only the appearance of a perfect couple. "Glass of wine?" Vanessa appears in the living room wearing a simple but elegant dress. After dinner and 2 bottles of wine, they end up in the bedroom. Vanessa kisses Daniel passionately, unbuttoning his shirt. "I haven't done this in so long," she whispers. "Are you sure?" "Absolutely. From the moment I saw you, I knew this would happen." Later, lying in bed, Daniel asks cautious questions about her husband's business. "Have you ever noticed anything strange about his business? Financial problems, unusual business partners?" Vanessa sits up on her elbow. "Why are you asking?" "Just, some of the documents related to the exhibition look strange. Alex never discusses business with me, but I know the company has had difficulties since the economic downturn, and there were some problems with the tax authorities last year." "Did he mention any foreign partners?" "No, but I heard him speaking Russian on the phone several times. When I asked, he said it was a new wood supplier." Daniel notes this information, then turns the conversation to more personal topics. At work, Daniel and Vanessa keep their distance, but exchange secret glances. When Alex returns from Pittsburgh, he looks tense and tired. "How's the exhibition project coming along?" he asks Daniel on Friday. "On schedule. I've prepared a preliminary presentation." "Good. By the way, Vanessa suggested inviting you to dinner on Sunday. She thinks we should get to know our rising star manager better." Daniel hides his surprise. "I'd be delighted, sir." The atmosphere at the Wilsons' dinner party is tense. Alex drinks heavily and says little. Vanessa keeps the conversation going by asking Daniel questions about his past. "How did you achieve such success at such a young age?" Alex asks suddenly. "I've always been able to find opportunities where others see only obstacles," Daniel replies. "What about your personal life? Family?" "I was married. I got divorced 3 years ago." "The reason?" Alex's gaze becomes probing. "Alex, that's personal," Vanessa interjects. "It's okay." Daniel holds his boss's gaze. "We were incompatible. She wanted children. I was focused on my career." "I understand." Alex pours himself another whiskey. "Sometimes marriages fall apart for no particular reason. People just change." After dinner, as Daniel is about to leave, Alex walks him to the door. "You know, Morris, I appreciate your work. I really do. But remember, there are some lines you shouldn't cross." "I'm not sure I understand what you mean." "I think you do. Just a friendly reminder." The next day, Sharon walks into Daniel's office without knocking. "I saw you with Vanessa at Pinewood," she says without preamble. Daniel remains calm. "We ran into each other at a cafe." "Don't lie to me. I've known Vanessa for 10 years, and I know what she looks like when she's flirting with someone." "Sharon, I appreciate your concern, but I'm not finished. I'm not here to judge you or lecture you, but you should know that you're playing with fire. Alex is not someone you want to mess with." "Are you threatening me?" "I'm warning you, as a newcomer to town. There are rumors about how Alex deals with his competitors, and believe me, those rumors are based on fact." When Sharon leaves, Daniel calls his mysterious contact. "I think the secretary suspects something, and Alex is starting to figure it out too. Is that a problem?" "Not if we speed things up. I found what we were looking for. There's definitely something fishy going on at the company, possibly money laundering through foreign partners." "That's serious. Do you have any proof?" "Nothing direct, but I'm working on it. Tomorrow I'll be in his office while he's in a meeting with suppliers. On Wednesday, while Alex is away, Daniel looks through the files on his computer. In the personal folder, he finds photos that make him freeze. The pictures show Vanessa with another man. Intimate moments captured by a hidden camera. "Damn," Daniel whispers, copying the files to his flash drive. Suddenly, the door opens and Sharon appears in the doorway. "What are you doing in Mr. Wilson's office?" Her eyes narrow. "He asked me to find some documents for a presentation to suppliers," Daniel says, closing the folder on the screen. "In his personal files?" Sharon steps closer. "I'm not stupid, Mr. Morris. You came to Mill Creek with a purpose, and it's not to work at Wilson Woodworks. I don't know what you're talking about." "I think you do, and I think you should be careful, especially with Vanessa. You're her friend. Don't you want her to be happy?" Sharon smiles bitterly. "Happy? With you? You have no idea what you're getting yourself into." That evening, Daniel meets Vanessa at a motel on the outskirts of Pinewood. "Sharon knows about us," he says, showing her the photos from Alex's computer. Vanessa turns pale. That man, I dated him 2 years ago. It was a fling. Alex never said he knew him. But he did, and he was gathering evidence. God, what should I do? We have 2 options. End it now, or what? Or we use what I found out about his business and get out of here, together. Vanessa looks at him for a long time, then nods decisively. Tell me your plan. On Friday, working late, Daniel receives a message from Vanessa. Alex knows. He found our messages on my phone. He's on his way to your place. Be careful. Almost immediately, there is a loud knock on his office door. Alex Wilson, his face red with rage, bursts in. You, he growls. You bastard. You thought I wouldn't find out? Alex, calm down. Let's talk like adults. Talk? Alex laughs viciously. About what? About how you're screwing my wife, or how you've been digging through my files. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me. Sharon saw you, and I saw the receipts from the motel in Pinewood in Vanessa's purse. Daniel changes tactics. Did you think she'd stay faithful to you forever, after you ignored her for years, collecting dirt on her instead of talking to her? You don't know anything about our marriage. I know enough about your marriage and your dirty dealings with your Russian partners. Alex freezes. What did you say? I know about the deals, the document schemes, the alternative supply channels. The tax authorities will be very interested. You're bluffing. Why don't you check your personal safe, the one behind the painting in your home office? Alex's expression changes from anger to shock, then to cold calculation. You have no idea who you're dealing with, Morris. Neither do you. Alex takes a step forward. Get out of my town, and stay away from my wife if you want to live to see old age. Or what? Hire your Russian friends to deal with me? Threaten to publish Vanessa's photos? That won't work anymore. You have 24 hours to disappear. After that, I'm not responsible for the consequences. When Alex leaves, Daniel immediately calls Vanessa. He knows everything. We need to move faster. Are you ready to leave tomorrow night? Yes, but he'll check the safe as soon as he gets home. That's part of the plan. Just be ready at 7, and don't worry about the documents. The copies are already in a safe place. After that, Daniel calls his mysterious contact. The time has come. Tomorrow, it all ends. Saturday, 7:15 a.m. Alex Wilson sits in his home office, his glass of whiskey half empty despite the early hour. His gaze is fixed on the open safe behind the painting. Folders with documents are scattered across the table. His face is a mixture of rage and fear. Vanessa watches him from the doorway, trying not to give away her presence. I know you're there, Alex says without turning around. What's going on, Alex? You haven't slept all night. Don't pretend you care. He finally looks at her. How much does he know? What are you talking about? Morris, damn it! Alex pounds his fist on the table. What he found in my safe, in my computer! Vanessa takes a step forward, keeping her face impassive. I don't know, Alex. We didn't discuss your business. What did you discuss between acts at the motel? The weather? His voice is full of venom. She remains silent, and he continues. Listen to me carefully. Whatever he tells you, whatever he promises you, it's a lie. He's not who he says he is. Who is he? Alex looks at her with a bitter smile. And you really want to know. Amazing. He stands up and moves closer to her. This is your last chance, Vanessa. Tell me everything you know about his plans, and I might be able to protect us. Protect us? From what? From what's coming. His gaze softens for a moment. You don't think this is just a romance, do you? That he ended up here by accident? Vanessa hesitates. I don't know what to think. Then start thinking, quickly. Because if those documents, he points to the table, end up in the wrong hands, we're both finished. Meanwhile, Daniel meets with a mysterious contact in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. A woman in her 40s, wearing a business suit and with an immaculate bob, is looking at photos of documents on a laptop. Excellent work, Daniel, she says. This is exactly what we were looking for. Thanks, Agent Marcus, he replies. But the situation has gotten complicated. Wilson knows I copied the documents, and about my affair with his wife. Carol Marcus, a special agent with the FBI, looks up from the screen. The affair was part of the operation. We discussed it. No, Daniel shakes his head. I had to get close to her to get the information, not sleep with her. And yet you did. It became personal. Marcus sighs. I warned you. Don't let your emotions get in the way of your work. She knew nothing about her husband's business, but now she's afraid of him. Why would she be afraid if she didn't know? The photos. Daniel shows the images from the flash drive. He was following her, documenting her infidelity with her previous lover. He kept it as a trump card. Sharon Collins watches the factory from her car, parked across the street. Her phone rings. Alex, what's going on? They know, Sharon. The documents are gone. His voice sounds tense. Damn, is it Morris? Who else? The question is who he works for. The FBI? Or the competition, it doesn't matter. We need a backup plan. Sharon bites her lip. What about Vanessa? What about her? Is she involved? Or just a pawn? There is a pause on the other end of the line, then, I don't know, but we can't take any chances. Alex, we're talking about your wife. Who's sleeping with a federal agent? He lowers his voice. Listen, we're going with Plan C. Meet me at the usual place at 8. Don't be late. Daniel returns to his rented house and finds the lock broken. Taking his gun from its hiding place under the floorboards, he cautiously enters. Vanessa is waiting for him in the living room, pale and tense. Who are you? She asks instead of greeting him. Daniel lowers his weapon. What are you doing here? Answer my question. Alex said you're not who you say you are. He hesitates, then decides. I'm a federal agent. I'm undercover, investigating your husband's activities. Vanessa doesn't look surprised. And our relationship is also part of your undercover work? Initially, yes. Getting close to you was part of the plan. But then, you fell in love? A bitter smile distorts her face. How convenient. Listen, we don't have much time. We're running an operation tonight. Your husband is facing serious time for money laundering, tax evasion, possibly even ties to organized crime. So what now? I want to get you out of here before the operation starts. You could be suspected of being an accomplice. Am I an accomplice? Daniel moves closer. Did you know about his activities? Not in detail, but I suspected something wasn't right. Strange phone calls, late-night visitors, sudden trips. Why didn't you leave? Why? Vanessa laughs without joy. You saw the photos. He controlled me. Every time I thought about leaving, he hinted that he knew about my mistakes. He threatened to ruin my reputation, to take everything away from me. Meanwhile, Alex meets with Sharon in a back room of the factory. Are all the files destroyed? He asks, opening a safe in the floor. All the hard drives? Yes, and I took care of the backups in the cloud. Alex takes bundles of cash and passports out of the safe. Any news from our friends in the police? They don't know anything about a federal operation if there is one. But there are definitely more unknown people in the city. Damn, less time than I thought. At 5:45 p.m., Daniel and Vanessa are getting ready to leave. His phone rings. It's Agent Marcus. Wilson is at the factory with his secretary, she reports. It looks like they're getting ready to flee. The operation begins in half an hour. I'm taking Vanessa out right now. Where are you meeting her? She's already with me. There is a pause on the line. She's at your house? Daniel, that's a breach of protocol. I know, but it's not safe for her to stay with her husband. At 6:15 p.m., Daniel and Vanessa leave the house. They are met by Agent Marcus and 2 other agents. Agent Morris, she says to Daniel, ignoring Vanessa. The team is ready for the operation. The cars are in position. Vanessa is coming with me to a safe place, says Daniel. I'm afraid that's not possible. Marcus shakes his head. Mrs. Wilson needs to be questioned as a potential witness. We agreed otherwise. Plans have changed. We have new information. Vanessa grabs Daniel's arm. You promised. What information? Daniel demands. Marcus shows him a photo on his phone. Vanessa and Sharon in a cafe a few days ago, talking animatedly. Mrs. Wilson was meeting with her husband's secretary, a woman we suspect is helping him with his illegal operations. At 6:30 p.m., the FBI team surrounds the Wilson Woodworks factory. Daniel and Marcus lead the group entering through the main entrance. Armed agents quickly check the empty offices. The building is clear, one of the agents reports. But there are signs of recent activity in the back room. Someone destroyed documents. Damn, he got away. Marcus looks around. Send teams to his house and known hideouts. There's something else, the agent adds. A flash drive with a message for Agent Morris was found in his office. Daniel turns on the computer and inserts the flash drive. A video appears on the screen. Alex Wilson is looking directly at the camera. Hello, Daniel, or whatever your real name is. If you're watching this, it means your charming operation has begun. Congratulations. But I'm afraid you're a little late. By the time you find this message, I'll be long gone, and I won't be alone. The camera pans out to show Sharon tied up in the background. I guess you were expecting to see my wife in her place. Funny how fate sometimes plays tricks on you. Vanessa turned out to be smarter than I thought. Smarter than you thought, or maybe just a better actress. Daniel feels a chill inside. You see, Alex continues, my dear wife knew about you from the very beginning. About your investigation, about your plans. She was my eyes and ears. I think she even enjoyed her role a little. Marcus immediately contacts the agents accompanying Vanessa. There is no answer. Your precious Vanessa is on her way to a private airfield where a plane is waiting for us. Alex smirks on the video. Oh, and don't worry about the documents she showed you. They're clever forgeries. She destroyed the real evidence long ago. Track their car's GPS, Marcus orders. Now about poor Sharon, Alex turns to the bound woman. The only person who was truly loyal to me. She tried to warn me about you from the very beginning, and now she's paying for my stupidity. You have a choice, Agent. Pursue Vanessa and me, or save Sharon's life. She's in Johnson's abandoned warehouse at the old sawmill. The timer is activated. You have 30 minutes before the explosion. The video ends. He's bluffing, says Marcus. What if he's not? Daniel is already heading for the exit. I'm going to the warehouse. At 7:15 p.m., Daniel pulls up to the abandoned sawmill. The warehouse building looks empty and quiet. He cautiously enters, keeping his gun at the ready. Sharon is tied to a chair in the center of the room. Around her are several cans of gasoline connected by wires to a homemade explosive device. The timer shows 12 minutes. Sharon! Daniel rushes toward her. I'll get you out of there! Don't come any closer, she screams. It's a trap! He stops. What do you mean? The detonator is connected to the weight of the chair. If you untie me, everything will explode. Daniel examines the device. Did you know about Alex and Vanessa's plan? No, I thought I was going with him. A tear rolls down her cheek. I helped him for 10 years. I covered up his dirty deeds, and he left me here to die. The timer on the explosive device shows 9 minutes and continues to count down. Daniel feverishly studies the bomb, trying to find a way to defuse it without risking Sharon's life. Daniel, listen to me, Sharon says quietly but firmly. I'm trying to understand how it works. There must be a way. There's no time. There are things you need to know about Vanessa. Daniel looks up from the wires for a moment. What exactly? She didn't betray you. At least not like Alex said. She tried to run away, yes, but not with him. How do you know? Because she came to me 2 days ago. She asked for help. She said she'd finally found a way out of this marriage without consequences. Sharon winces in pain, trying to find a more comfortable position in her chair. She said some federal agent was interested in Alex's business, that this was her chance. Did she know who I was? I think she guessed. Vanessa is smart, smarter than she looks, Sharon said with a bitter smile. That's why Alex married her. He would never have chosen a stupid woman. Daniel returned to studying the bomb. What exactly did she want from you? Information about Alex's hiding places, places where he might keep cash and documents. I told her about the cabin in the woods. And you just gave her everything? After 10 years of loyalty to Alex? Sharon lowers her gaze. I'm tired, Daniel. Tired of being a shadow. A loyal assistant he never really noticed. The timer shows 7 minutes. Maybe I can connect these 2 wires and... Daniel concentrates on the device. Don't touch the blue wire, Sharon says sharply. Alex was in the army. He knows how to set traps. Daniel freezes with his hand over the wires. Do you really think he wants to kill you? No. He wants to kill you. Sharon looks him in the eyes. He knew you would come for me. He was counting on your nobility. At that moment, Daniel's radio comes to life. Morris! Agent Marcus's voice fills the room. We found the car of the agents who were escorting Vanessa Wilson. Both agents are alive but unconscious. The car is empty. Daniel grabs the radio. Marcus, I'm in the warehouse with Sharon Collins. There's a bomb here. The timer is set for 6 minutes. I need a bomb squad. On our way. What's the situation with Collins? She's tied to a chair. The detonator is connected to a weight. It's a non-standard setup. Get yourself out of there, Morris. That's an order. Daniel looks at Sharon. I can't. We're almost done with the device. He turns off the radio and returns to the bomb. Sharon, tell me more about Vanessa. What did she have on Alex? What evidence? Records, phone conversations she secretly recorded over the last 2 years. Meetings with Russian suppliers who were actually laundering money through the company. And also, Sharon pauses for a moment. Something about his father's death. What exactly? Officially, William Wilson died of a heart attack, but Vanessa overheard Alex talking to someone on the phone. Something about the old man finally got what he deserved, and no one will ever know the truth. Daniel freezes. You think he killed his own father? I don't know, but Vanessa believed it, and she was afraid that one day he would do the same to her. The timer shows 4 minutes. Outside, sirens can be heard. Backup is approaching. Sharon, Daniel looks into her eyes. I know the bomb could go off if I pull you out of the chair, but if I can move the whole chair, too risky. The detonator could be triggered by movement. Then what choice do we have? He's starting to lose patience. Listen, there's a flash drive in the glove compartment of my car. It has copies of all the important documents, the original files with all the metadata. That's what you need to put Alex away. Why didn't you say so earlier? Why did you help him all these years? Sharon smiles sadly. Because I loved him, all this time, like an idiot. The timer shows 3 minutes. Daniel makes a decision. I'll get you out of here. Hold on. He starts cutting the ropes, holding Sharon to the chair. What are you doing? We'll both die. I'll free you, but you'll stay seated on the chair. Then we'll slowly get up and get out of here together. If the detonator only reacts to a change in weight on the chair, we have a chance. Sharon looks at him incredulously. That's crazy. Maybe, but it's better to take a chance than sit here and wait to die. He carefully cuts the ropes, constantly making sure she doesn't change her position on the chair. That's it. Now slowly, together with the chair. Sharon strains to stand up without lifting the chair off the floor. Daniel helps her, holding her and the chair at the same time. They manage to lift themselves a few inches when there is a click. Damn! Daniel looks at the timer. Instead of numbers, a single word flashes on the display. Activated! Run! Sharon yells, pushing him away. Daniel tries to grab her, but she jerks back violently, falling backward with the chair. At the same moment, he lunges toward the exit. An explosion rocks the warehouse just as Daniel reaches the door. A wave of hot air and debris throws him outside onto the ground. For a moment, the world around him is engulfed in fire and noise. Then a strange silence descends, broken only by the ringing in his ears. Federal agents who have just arrived at the scene pull him away from the burning building. Someone checks his pulse and shines a flashlight in his eyes. Agent Marcus's voice sounds muffled. Morris, can you hear me? Morris. Sharon. Daniel tries to focus his eyes. She's dead, and you could have died with her. What the hell were you thinking? The flash drive, in her car, the glove compartment. He loses consciousness. When Daniel comes to, he is lying on a stretcher. Agent Marcus is standing nearby, talking on the phone. Yes, sir. We lost Collins. Morris is wounded but will survive. Wilson and his wife are still on the run. Understood. We'll keep you posted. Noticing that Daniel has regained consciousness, she puts away her phone. Welcome back. How are you feeling? I felt better, he says, trying to sit up. Did you find the flash drive? Yes, and it's a real gold mine. International bank accounts, transfer confirmations, recordings of conversations with Russian intermediaries. Everything we need to put Wilson away for a very long time, if we catch him. When we catch him, she corrects him. All airports and border crossings have been alerted. No sign of a private plane leaving River Creek or any other nearby airfield. Daniel grimaces from the pain in his head. What about Vanessa? No sign of her either, but there's something interesting. Marcus shows him a photo on his phone. A surveillance camera at a gas station 8 miles from here, taken an hour ago. The image shows Vanessa, alone, buying something at the gas station store. She looks tense, but determined. She's alone, without Alex. Daniel tries to make sense of what he's seen. That doesn't fit with the theory that they're together. Or she's acting on his orders. Either way, the local authorities are already checking that gas station. The medics report that they are ready to transport Daniel to the hospital, but he refuses. I'm fine, just stunned by the explosion. We don't have time. We have to find Wilson. Morris, you could have been killed. You need to be examined. What I need is to catch the man who just killed Sharon Collins, and possibly my own father 3 years ago. Marcus raises an eyebrow. What do you mean? Daniel recounts what Sharon told him before the explosion. Interesting, Marcus muses. We can request an exhumation if we find enough grounds. First, we need to find Alex and Vanessa. Vanessa could be a victim or an accomplice, Marcus reminds him. Don't forget that. Sharon said that Vanessa really wanted to escape, but not with Alex. And you believe her? A woman who spent 10 years helping Wilson run his dirty business? Daniel doesn't answer. Images flash through his mind. Vanessa in his arms, whispering that she finally feels safe with him. Was it all an act, or were her feelings real? The FBI task force is setting up in the Mill Creek Sheriff's Office. The walls are covered with photos of Alex and Vanessa Wilson, maps of the town and surrounding area, and diagrams of possible escape routes. Wilson's cabin has been checked, reports one of the agents. It's empty, but there are signs of recent activity. There are marks from a safe under the floorboards, just as Collins said. He took the contents and disappeared. Marcus looks thoughtfully at the map. Where would you go with money, documents, and knowing that the FBI is looking for you? Not to the airport or the border, that's obvious, Daniel replies. Maybe to the sea, a private yacht, out into international waters. The nearest port is 3 hours away. Let's check the marinas and yacht clubs. They are interrupted by a phone call. The deputy sheriff hands over the phone. Agent Marcus? This is the Pine Grove Motel. They say Vanessa Wilson just arrived, alone. 20 minutes later, FBI SUVs surround a modest roadside motel on the outskirts of Mill Creek. Daniel and Marcus, both wearing bulletproof vests, enter the designated room, where they are met by a pale but composed Vanessa. I've been waiting for you, she says calmly. I imagine you have a lot of questions. Where's Alex? Marcus asks immediately. I don't know. We split up at the gas station. He thought I was going to the agreed meeting place. And in reality? In reality, I came here. Vanessa looks straight at Daniel. To turn myself in and tell the whole truth. Several hours later, in the interrogation room of the sheriff's office, Vanessa gives a statement that is recorded on video. I suspected Alex of illegal activities about 2 years ago when I overheard him talking to his Russian partner. He mentioned alternative supply channels and commissions for special services. That's when I started recording his conversations. Why? Marcus asks. Insurance. I knew that if I tried to leave, he wouldn't let me go just like that. I needed leverage. When did you find out that Agent Morris was working undercover? Vanessa glances at Daniel standing by the wall. I started to suspect something after I saw him looking at documents that had nothing to do with his job. Then I noticed a gun in his house when She stumbles. When I was at his place. A sales manager doesn't keep a gun under the floorboards. And you decided to use him for your own purposes? Marcus's voice sounds cold. I decided it was my chance to get out. Yes, I showed him the documents. Yes, I told him about Alex's business, but not to manipulate him because I wanted to help. And your relationship with Agent Morris, was that part of the plan too? Vanessa is silent for a few seconds, then says, At first, I thought I could use his interest in me. But then, everything changed. How? He was the first person in a long time who saw me as a person, not property. She looks at Daniel. I didn't plan on falling in love. Marcus continues his questioning. Tell me about today's events. How did you end up in the car with the FBI agents? Daniel told me the truth about himself and offered me protection. I agreed. When your agents took me, I didn't resist, thinking it was part of the plan. What happened next? The car stopped in the woods. Alex arrived with two people I had never seen before. They knocked the agents unconscious with something. Alex said he had known about Daniel from the beginning, that it was all part of his game. And you believed him? No, but I pretended to believe him. He said we were going to a private airfield and from there to Mexico. On the way, we stopped at a gas station and I took the opportunity to escape. What do you know about the explosion at the warehouse and the death of Sharon Collins? Vanessa turns pale. Sharon's dead? Don't pretend you didn't know. Marcus looks at her suspiciously. I didn't know. Vanessa looks genuinely shocked. Alex said he sent her somewhere else, that they had a backup plan. And the recording where he says you were on his side the whole time? A lie, a desperate attempt to sow distrust between me and the FBI. After the interrogation, Daniel finds Vanessa in the break room. She is sitting with her arms wrapped around herself, staring into space. How are you? He asks, sitting down opposite her. Sharon is dead because of me, she says quietly. If I hadn't gone to her, if I hadn't shown my cards, you couldn't have known Alex would do that. I couldn't? She looks up at him. I lived with that man for 10 years, Daniel. I knew what he was capable of, and I still risked someone else's life. You risked your own life. And now what? Witness protection? A new identity? A new city? Daniel wants to take her hand, but stops himself. First, we have to find Alex. At that moment, Agent Marcus enters the room. We have a lead. A credit card in the name of William Wilson was used to pay for a motel room in Riverside, 80 miles from here. William? That's his father's name. Daniel straightens up. I know. Vanessa stands up. He always had a spare card in that name, for emergencies. Do you know anything else that might help us find him? Marcus asks. Maybe. Vanessa hesitates. He has a friend in Riverside, a former military man, Jack Howell. They served together before Alex came back to run the factory. Why didn't you mention that before? Because I didn't think Alex would turn to him. They haven't spoken in years, but if he really has nowhere to go... Marcus immediately gives orders to check on Jack Howell. An hour later, information comes in. Howell, a former U.S. Army sapper, now owns a small boat station on a lake near Riverside. That explains how Alex was able to make the bomb, Daniel remarks. And gives him a way to escape across the lake, adds Marcus. Let's move out immediately. As they leave, Vanessa turns to Daniel. I want to go with you. Out of the question, Marcus cuts her off. You're staying here under guard. I know Alex better than anyone. I can help. Or warn him, Marcus counters. We're still not sure of your loyalty, Mrs. Wilson. Night falls on the lake as the FBI task force surrounds the Howell boat station. The small vacation cabins are plunged into darkness with only one light shining. We've detected cell phone activity, reports the technician. Someone in that cabin made an international call 10 minutes ago. Russia? Marcus asks. No, the Cayman Islands. Daniel and Marcus exchange glances. Withdrawing money. Preparing for a long absence, Daniel says. The agents take up positions around the cabin, preparing to storm it. Daniel checks his weapon when his phone rings. The number is hidden. Morris, he answers quietly. Hello, Daniel. Alex Wilson's voice sounds almost friendly. Or what's your real name? Never mind. It's nice to know you survived the explosion. Daniel signals the tech to start tracking the call. Where are you, Alex? Closer than you think. You know, I'm starting to respect you. You've proven to be more persistent than I expected. It's over. We know about your accounts, your connections to the Russian mafia, your money laundering schemes. We have proof. Bravo, but you're missing the most important thing. And what's that? I never acted alone. Alex's voice hardens. I have partners, influential people who won't like it if I fall into the hands of the FBI. You're bluffing. Really? Ask your boss, Agent Marcus, if she's ever heard the name Viktor Sokolov. Daniel sees Marcus tense up at the name. Who is that? A man who can destroy the careers of many federal agents with a single phone call. Your Carol knows what I'm talking about. Alex, give yourself up. We'll find you anyway. Maybe, but first I'm going to find Vanessa. His voice becomes icy. and finish what I should have done a long time ago. She's under protection. No one is completely protected, Daniel. You should have learned that lesson after Sharon. The call is cut off. The technician shakes his head. Not enough time to pinpoint the location. What was that? Daniel turns to Marcus. Empty threats from a desperate man, she says, turning away, but Daniel notices the concern in her eyes. Who is Viktor Sokolov? It's not relevant. It is if it affects the operation. What aren't you telling me, Marcus? Before she can answer, a gunshot rings out from inside the house. The agents immediately move in. Inside, they find Jack Howell with a gunshot wound to the head. Suicide. On the table is a note. He made me build the bomb. I'm sorry, Sharon. There is no sign of Alex Wilson. On the way back, Daniel tries to call headquarters to check on Vanessa. No one answers. A bad feeling makes him speed up. When they arrive at the sheriff's office, they find signs of a struggle. 2 agents are unconscious, one seriously injured. Vanessa Wilson is gone. On the table is a note written in familiar handwriting. Checkmate, Agent Morris. How much time do we have? Daniel looks at his watch. It's 3 in the morning. The Mill Creek Sheriff's Office has been turned into an operations headquarters, with agents working non-stop. According to the surviving agents, Vanessa was kidnapped about an hour ago, Marcus replies. Alex didn't act alone. At least 2 accomplices, possibly Russian. Why does he want her? Revenge? Or she knows something that could destroy him completely? Daniel recalls Sharon's words about William Wilson's death, his father's death. Vanessa knew something. Marcus, this is no time for secrets. Who is Viktor Sokolov? Agent Marcus pulls him away from the rest of the team. Sokolov is the head of a Russian mafia group based in Miami. 2 years ago, we almost got him, but the operation failed. Someone tipped him off. And you suspect a leak within the Bureau? I know for a fact. The problem is, I have no proof. Daniel begins to understand. And you think Wilson is connected to Sokolov? That he was a conduit for laundering money for the Russian mafia? Not just a conduit. According to the documents on Sharon's flash drive, millions of dollars have passed through Wilson Woodworks over the past 5 years. Alex is a key link in their American operation. Daniel's phone rings. Another hidden number. I'll put it on speaker. He nods to the technician, who starts tracking the call. Morris. She's alive. For now. Alex's voice sounds tense. What do you want? A trade. Sharon's flash drive for my wife. The flash drive is already with the FBI. Copies have been uploaded to the database. Not all the information. Sharon was smarter than you think. The key files are encrypted. Without the password, they're useless. Marcus nods. It's true. The techs have already been working on the protection of some of the files. How do I know Vanessa is alive? There is a short pause, then Vanessa's voice. Daniel, don't do it. He has... Her voice trails off. The terms, Alex continues. You're alone. The flash drive and the password. St. Paul's abandoned church, 5 miles east of the city. Dawn, 2 hours from now. And you'll both get away? I don't believe it. You either save her life or you don't. The choice is yours. The call is cut off. The technician spreads his hands. The signal was redirected through several points. It's a trap, Marcus says decisively. I know, but we have no choice. You're not going alone. We'll surround the church, a team of snipers. Daniel shakes his head. Alex is an ex-soldier. He'll be expecting this. If he senses an ambush, Vanessa is dead. Then what's your plan? I'll give him what he wants, and I'll make him talk. St. Paul's Church has been abandoned for a decade. Broken stained glass windows, dilapidated walls, a collapsed roof. The perfect place for a trap. Daniel arrives alone, as agreed. He has a flash drive in his hand. He enters through the main entrance, the rays of the rising sun shining through the holes in the roof. I'm here, Alex. The echo reverberates through the empty room. Silence. Then Alex Wilson emerges from the shadows of the altar. In one hand, he holds a gun, in the other Vanessa, gagged and bound. Drop the weapon, Alex commands. Daniel slowly puts the gun on the floor. The flash drive? Let her go first. Alex laughs. You're in no position to bargain. The flash drive on the floor now. Daniel takes out the flash drive, shows it to Alex, and places it on the floor between them. The password? When Vanessa is halfway to me. Alex pushes Vanessa forward. She slowly walks toward Daniel. Their eyes meet, and in her eyes he sees not fear, but a warning? Password, Alex demands when Vanessa is halfway there. William, 1967, Daniel says. Alex's father's name and the year the factory was founded. Alex smirks. Sentimental. Sharon was always like that. Now it's your turn. Tell us about Sokolov. Curious to the end, Agent. But curiosity killed the cat. At that moment, Vanessa falls sharply to the floor. Daniel lunges forward. Alex shoots. The bullet hits Daniel in the shoulder, but he continues moving, knocking Alex off his feet. They struggle for the gun. A blow, another blow. Daniel feels his strength leaving him. The loss of blood is taking its toll. Alex twists around, aims the gun. A shot rings out through the church. Alex freezes with a look of surprise on his face, then slowly looks down at the spreading red stain on his chest. Behind him stands Vanessa, holding Daniel's gun. You... Alex looks at her in disbelief. For everything I gave you? For everything you took from me, she replies calmly. Alex falls to his knees, then onto his side. His gaze is fixed on a single point. Vanessa throws down the gun and rushes to Daniel. You're wounded. I'll live, he says, pressing his hand against his shoulder to stop the bleeding. FBI special agents storm into the church through all the entrances. Are you okay? Agent Marcus runs up to them. The bullet went right through, Daniel replies. Vanessa saved my life. Epilogue. 6 months later, Federal Prosecutor's Office, Washington. Daniel Morris, now wearing a suit and with a small scar on his shoulder, is reviewing the Sokolov case files. Thanks to the encrypted files on Sharon's flash drive, Sharon was able to uncover a network of corrupt officials and agents, including a former deputy director of the FBI. The last interrogation is over. Marcus enters the room. Vanessa confirmed all the testimony. The district attorney believes the self-defense case is airtight. What about the exhumation of William Wilson's body? The toxicology report confirmed poisoning. Alex did kill his father. Daniel nods. How is she? She's holding up. Witness protection program. New identity. New city. She asked me to give you this. Marcus hands him an envelope. Inside is a short note. Sometimes promises are broken to keep the ones that really matter. Thank you for helping me keep my promise to myself. V.